It's September 28th, 2016, and I'm sitting in the nice porch of my sister Twila's house in Wall, South Dakota. And we're going to work through some questions here. Twila, let's begin by you sharing what you remember, the good, the bad, the ugly, about our four grandparents, who I think were all alive when you were young. And do you want to start with Dad's parents?
Yes, they were all still alive. And I remember Cordes' grandparents, Henry and Emma, and she, I always remember her as being a very kind lady,
Mm-hmm.
and he was always a little bit scary. I was a little bit afraid of him, but as I got older and got to know him a little bit better, I remember him more now as a kind person too.
Okay.
And we didn't really spend a lot of time with him because we didn't get to Rapid City real often. But when we did, I remember Grandma Cordes, she would sometimes send you home a little something with me.
Oh.
That she had made, a doily or something,
Mm-hmm.
which I appreciated.
Sure.
And then as far as the Funk grandparents, I knew them much better because we saw them more often.
Oh, right.
And Sam Funk, he was a little bit scary too when I was younger because he was so stern looking.
Yeah.
And but he was a very quiet person. He was hard to get to know.
Uh-huh.
But our grandmother Funk, she was easy to get to know. She was fun to be with. She was a character. She was crazy. But had a lot of fun times with her.
When you say she was a character, what do you mean by that?
Oh, she was very spontaneous. You didn't know what was going to happen when you were around Grandma Funk.
Right. And so you have some pretty good memories of, well, I guess all of them, but especially Grandma Funk, it sounds like.
Because I knew her the best, probably.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else about, or about that extended family was, mother was close to her family. Dad was not as engaged with his extended family.
No.
I think that's right.
Right.
Would you agree with that?
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. Was there any reasons for that, or?
Not that I know of.
Yeah.
I think there was some hard feelings with my dad and his dad. I think they had some kind of a business disagreement.
Between who?
Grandpa Cordes and our dad.
Okay. Some disagreement, you say? You think?
I think they had a business deal that went sour.
Okay.
But they were on friendly enough terms.
Mm-hmm.
But we just never spent that much time around the Cordes side of the family.
Right. Okay. Anything else?
Oh, let's see. Oh, I could tell you lots of stories about Grandma Funk.
Well, tell me a couple. Tell me a couple of your favorites. Funny ones, whatever.
She would come into Sturgis when we were in high school there, spend a few days. And I remember once she came in and Rosalie Finner was staying at our house too. And Rosalie was good with fixing hair. And so Grandma Funk decided she needed a haircut, so Rosalie was going to cut her hair. And Rosalie went out of the room to get, I don't know, to get a towel or something to wrap around her neck or something. I don't know what she went for, but anyway, while Rosalie was out of the room, Grandma Funk pulled her hair down and chopped it off. And Rosalie came back in and she said, "Oh, I can't believe you chopped that off," and she just chopped it off to nothing about. And so Rosalie tried to compensate for that big mess that she had made, but she was just so spontaneous like that.
Just wanted to get it done.
time to get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other stories?
Oh, she was a good cook.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she was a good cook. Liked to eat her food.
Was she a hard worker?
Very hard. Very hard. And she expected everybody else to work too,
Yeah, right?
which was not a bad thing.
No, it's not. No, it's not at all. Not at all. So, okay. Well, thanks for sharing those memories, recollections, and we'll move on to another question. Okay, Twila, let's talk about you. And right from the beginning and prior to the first grade, where were you living, and what do you remember about your life and the people around you before you started grade school?
Okay, I don't remember it, but I was only a month old when we moved to the Potock Ranch. And that's where I grew up,
And you moved there from
from Wood, South Dakota.
Wood, South Dakota. Okay.
And I remember happy days at the Potock. We didn't see many people, it was very isolated, but we had a happy childhood down there. Played outside a lot,
Played
made
outside.
a lot of mud pies. And I always liked to ride horseback, and when I got old enough, I could ride horseback with my dad. And the first horse that I remember that we had, and I was only probably 3 years old, but it was a real gentle, old, coal black horse called Pickaninny.
Pickaninny? Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember once we had taken a picnic, just not too far from the house, but I got to ride Pickaninny.
Oh, yeah.
And then when we got to the picnic spot, my dad said we could just let him wander wherever he wanted to go, and I was nervous that he was going to get away. And there was a little hill right beside us, and he would start going up that hill, and I would get real excited about it, and I'd say, I didn't call my dad Dad, I called him Slim.
Did you really?
And Callie.
Really? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I said, Slim, he's going back up there. Slim, he's going back up there. But, no, I remember just very happy days down at the Potock before I went to school.
Yeah.
And then when my older sister Jean and she got ready for school. She was 6 and I was 5. And my mother was going to homeschool Jean. And I was such a nuisance that she decided she'd homeschool me along with Jean. So we started out in first grade together, went all through high school together.
Right. Okay. Yeah, okay. So you were classmates the entire first through the 12th grade with Jean. When you were on the Potock, it was pretty isolated. Were there people that would come and visit, or would you go and visit? Would the family go visit anyone?
We would occasionally, not often though.
Yeah.
Of course, our grandma Funk lived at Enning, and once in a while we would get to go up there, and sometimes some of the family members from the Funk side would come down and visit us.
That was probably a pretty big event.
It was.
When you had a visitor.
It was.
What about neighbors? Were there any neighbors?
You know, I honestly don't remember many neighbors. A few of the neighbors that came through would just come through horseback. Charlie Goff was one of them that came through. And I remember once we had made homemade ice cream for Sunday. Charlie Goff came through and he just about ate all the homemade ice cream, and we were all the kids were all mad at him for eating the ice cream.
That house at the Potock, what do you remember about it and the buildings? Was it?
Oh, I thought the house was just gorgeous and big, but really it wasn't. When you go back and look at it, it wasn't that big and elaborate, but I thought it was.
Yeah.
And I remember the barn was big And we spent a lot of time in the barn, playing in the hayloft. Then we had a playhouse. It was just a kind of a lean-to off of another building with an open front, and that's where we did all of our playing, making mud pies and playing house.
You, for entertainment, of course, during the daytime and stuff, you were out playing and stuff like that. What would the evenings hold for you and the family?
We played, I know my dad tried to teach me to play checkers, and I didn't have the patience for that. I think we played a few card games as we got older. I don't know, it seemed like, you know, there was always as we got older, and I was one of the older ones,
right.
I did have to help in the kitchen some, and serve the evening meal and wash the dishes, and it seemed like by the time you got all that done, there wasn't too much spare time anyway. So.
Right. Yeah. Did you ever get in trouble?
Oh, nothing too serious.
Do you remember anything about getting into any kind of mischief?
Not really down there. I don't. I remember it was always a treat. We had to haul water to the house from a spring up above, and it was a real treat to go with our dad to do that. He had a team of horses and a big water tank, and he'd haul it up to the spring, and we'd have to sit there all day long and wait for it to fill up. And that was a real treat to go up there, because it was there were lots of trees, and it was shady, and
Oh yeah.
a fun place for kids to play.
Would it get pretty hot down there?
It did.
Yeah.
But you know, when you're a kid, you don't know that.
Right. Yeah.
The creek ran right by the house, and so we played down there in the creek, and we thought, didn't mind the weather.
Yeah. Well, okay. Anything else about life prior to going to school? Well, I guess going to school involved the first couple of years of homeschooling, but anything else about that stage of your life?
Oh, not right offhand, I guess.
Overall, you have pleasant
Pleasant memories.
memories of that, right? Okay.
I remember every couple of years a new baby would be brought home. And that was always exciting.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it started out with you and Jean there, and
Right.
then Belva came along in
Uh-huh.
1932, I believe, right?
And then when Kay came along, everybody in the family had whooping cough.
Ooh.
And so Kay had to be isolated in a bedroom. So we didn't get to see her or hold her or anything.
Oh, okay.
Dying to see the new baby, but we didn't get to.
Did you get whooping cough?
I was the only one that didn't.
The only one that didn't? Huh. You were born under a lucky star.
I guess.
So. Well, thank you, and we'll move along here to the next stage. Okay, Twila, let's talk about grade school, grades 1 through 8. Where did you go to school?
That'll be grades, well, probably 2 through 8, because we were homeschooled.
Homeschooled the first year,
couple
yeah.
of years, or 1 or 2, I can't remember. I think it was just the first year. But I went to school at Dalzell, which was 5 miles from the ranch, and it was rough terrain to get to school. So I remember packing a lunch, and the trip up to the schoolhouse seemed like it took forever because it was 5 miles away, and I guess we did have a car. You could only go about 10 miles an hour, I think.
Yeah, yeah. But Dad, I guess it was Dad, not Mother, that drove you.
No, it was Dad that drove, and he was county commissioner, and then when he would have his commissioner meetings, which was a week, the first of every month, we would have to go up and stay with the neighbors.
Oh, because
and
you
get
didn't,
to school from there.
because you didn't have transportation otherwise. Okay.
No. And we hated it. We didn't like being away from home. And
Who did you stay with during the week?
Hopkins.
Okay. Did you like them?
Not necessarily.
But Mother was 5 miles away down at the ranch
Right.
house with the other kids. Dad was in Sturgis, and you
Right.
were, and Jean
Right.
were staying with the Hopkins for a
Right.
week to
Right,
go to the nearby school. It wasn't very
Yeah.
far from where they lived, I suppose.
right. No, and we had to walk to school from there, which is maybe a mile.
Okay.
And then, some of the other kids got into school, Mother would go up and stay at a little house, just a little ways from the school. Do you remember that? She called it the shack.
I remember her talking about the
Yeah.
shack. And that's what it was, I guess.
It was.
Was it just one room, or?
Just one room.
Was it really? Yeah.
And, but we thought that was quite a treat because we were close to the school and it was right next to some kids that went to school with us. So we had playmates then.
Yeah, right, right. How many were in the school? It varied some over time.
Oh, I honestly don't remember,
15?
probably.
Yeah.
And then they closed the Crest School and, and those kids came up to the Dalzell School. And then we did have a big enrollment then, I think 18.
Yeah.
The
And,
schoolhouse was small. I don't know how we all got in there
yeah, really.
and learned anything.
And one teacher.
One teacher.
Tell me about the teachers.
Oh, I think I like most of my teachers.
Did you have favorite subjects?
I liked reading, I liked spelling
Spelling, reading is fine.
and language. I hated geography. Didn't care much about history. But,
What about sports and games and stuff during school?
well, there were no organized sports like they have nowadays. We just played on the school ground at recess and noon, played softball. And anti-Iover, like we talked, Red Rover, Red Rover. It was a pretty simple life.
Yeah. There weren't any organized sports, but there was a county-wide track meet or something. In my recollection, is you were pretty good at that, right?
Well, I loved it, yes. It was called Rally Day.
Rally Day.
Well,
Tell me about Rally Day.
once a year in the spring, probably April or May, everybody got to go to Sturgis to the county seat, and all the Meade County schools participated. And they had events of races, 50-yard dash, 75-yard dash, 100-yard dash. And they had long jump, high jump, ball throw. And I participated in all of them and loved all of them except the ball throw. I still can't throw a ball.
Well, you loved participating. Were you good?
I have quite a few medals.
Yeah. You weren't big for your age, were you?
No, I was small.
No, but you were.
I was small. But I was pretty speedy.
Yeah.
I could run.
Oh.
I think I held the record in the 50-yard dash for quite a few years.
Wow.
Until my sister Carolyn came along and she broke my record.
Oh, did she? Oh, she didn't share that with me. What about the community of Dalzell at that point in time? Was
Well, there were actually quite a lot of people that lived there because there were leftover homesteaders that were still there. And so we had a pretty good school enrollment, and a lot of families lived there, out there and had children that went to school there. So we finally had some playmates.
well, and am I not correct that at some point, you have to tell me when, Dad went bankrupt on the Potock Ranch, and so
Right.
so you moved up to the place where I was raised.
Uh-huh.
What year, what
I
grade?
think I was in the 7th or 8th grade then.
Which grade?
7th or 8th.
Oh, okay, so,
I
so
was
really
older.
just the
I was older.
last couple of years were you going to school from a closer distance?
Right.
More like
Right,
a couple miles.
right.
Yeah, okay. What was home life like during grade school? What did the family do? And,
It seemed like it was a busy life, and I think it was, because there were always, we had a large family, and there were always new babies being born.
Yeah.
And the work was hard for the woman.
yeah, right.
The laundry was hard. You had to haul your water in and heat it in a boiler on a wooden fired stove, and the wringer washing
Yeah.
machine, and it was a hard life for a woman.
Right.
Our mother worked hard.
Yeah, yeah. Mother did work hard. Did you help? Were you expected to help?
I did. I was probably more of a hindrance than a help, but I was supposed to help.
Did she have any help besides her kids?
She did. She had a hired girl most of the time to help her out with all of the children and the cooking and the laundry. And that laundry was a nightmare for me because they'd always haul that water in, and they had big tubs. This was when we were down at the Pothook, and they'd fill those tubs to rinse the clothes in, and just leave them sitting out there on the ground. And I was always fidgety and couldn't sit still. And every wash day, I swear, I would twirl and twist and finally end up falling in that tub of water.
What did Mother think of that?
Oh, she just couldn't, she thought there was no hope for me. And my dad called me Twisty Twila.
What did he call you?
Twisty
Oh,
Twila.
really? Okay.
I think I was probably ADD and nobody knew what that was at that time.
Yeah. These hired girls, were they neighbors or what?
They were neighbors.
Okay. And how old would they be?
Oh, they would be in their teens.
Okay. And they would live there, of course. Yeah. Do you remember who some of them were?
Uh-huh. I remember Ruby Finner was one of them. I'd have to think a while on the rest of them, but they always seemed to be part of the family and fun
Sure.
to have around.
Sure. Did you have close friends in grade school? And if so, who might they be?
I did. Rosalie Finner was my age, and we were really very close friends, and still are.
Still
to
are.
this day.
That's cool. Very cool. Was there any events and activities that went on at Dalzell or maybe Elm Springs that you participated in? The family? Church or plays or dances or?
We went to Elm Springs dances, of course, and the church was, in the summertime, they would have a Bible school for a couple of weeks that we would go to. And the big thing in the rural school was the Christmas program.
Christmas program.
We all got excited about the Christmas program.
And this would, just tell a little bit about the Christmas program as you remember it.
Oh, we had to learn the Christmas carols and sing the songs, and then everybody would have a poem or a little recitation to speak by yourself. And that always scared me to death.
Right.
But, and then they would sometimes have a play that everybody participated in. It was fun. We would practice for days and days and days for the Christmas program.
Right. Right. And then when the big night came, or big day at night, I guess, the parents and siblings and neighbors and so on.
The whole community would come to watch the Christmas program.
Right. Would Santa come?
And Santa Claus would come with some candy.
Yeah.
So it was a big ordeal.
Right.
It seems simple in today's terms, but at that time, place and time, it was a pretty big deal.
Right. You mentioned the Elm Springs dances. Tell me what they were like.
Well, if you like to dance, they were fun.
Did you like to dance?
I loved to dance, and everybody danced with everybody. You know, you danced with all the neighbor men who would be old enough to be your father, and you know, of course, the kids your own age, and girls danced with girls. The music would quit, and they'd pass the hat and gather a little more money, and the band would start up again, and we'd dance some more.
How long might they go?
Oh, till the wee hours.
Yeah, really?
Mm-hmm.
Then you'd
They'd have a break at midnight and have lunch,
Uh-huh.
and then they would start up again, and
Yeah.
it was just a neighborhood musicians that played. You know,
Right.
Ruth Moorhead played the piano, and
How often might they happen?
well, they had dances quite often actually, and then it got so they would have every 2 weeks they would have a dance at Elm Springs, and then the next 2 weeks they would have it at Enning,
I see.
back and forth.
And did you go to the dances at Enning too?
Yes, we did.
Yep.
And they were always fun. Grandma Funk was always there to chaperone.
Yeah, right. Right. Maybe did you spend the night at her place?
Yes, we did. A lot of the time we did.
Did you have any hobbies during grade school?
Well, I think I was taught to embroider. And I thought that was kind of fun. But I guess as far as hobbies, I know when I was young, forever, you know, when I was being homeschooled, even after I was older, I guess, I had a lot of cats. I played with cats.
Oh yeah.
I
Okay.
love cats.
Yeah, even then. I know you do now. Yeah. So that started at an early age. Yeah. And you were outside a lot.
I was outside.
You like to be outside.
Right.
More than inside. Did you see our family as being wealthy or poor or what?
Oh, I think I saw them as being average.
Uh-huh.
And I know everybody was more or less poor, I think, during some of the Depression years.
Sure.
And our dad was county commissioner. And he was adamant that we wouldn't take any welfare.
Oh, okay.
So I used to be kind of envious of some of the other kids would get the welfare. Commodity trucks would come out with clothing and food and everything, and
Yeah.
the other kids would get to participate in all that, and we didn't, because my dad didn't believe in it.
It just occurred to me that during those 8 years, that would have been during World War II, some of that, right? Or not?
Let's see, when did we get into World War II?
1941. So you would have been 12, and by the time the war was over,
Yeah, I
You-
would have been 11.
oh, 11.
Yeah,
okay.
41.
Oh, yeah, 11, okay, yeah. Yeah. What do you remember about?
We were still at the pothug,
Okay.
and my dad was glued to the radio all the time about that war.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I got this right, that when Pearl Harbor was bombed, we got that news on the old crank telephone as a general
Yeah.
ring from everybody, that the Japanese had bombed Pearl Harbor. And that was
What was your conception of what was going on?
Well, I guess I was scared, I guess,
Yeah.
you know. And I know they would have blackout nights and everyone was supposed to turn off all their lights and just as a practice drill. And I just thought for sure someone was coming to get us.
Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it was a scary time.
It was.
Yeah. Did you ever get into any trouble at school or at home during those 8 years?
I don't think anything serious.
What about any travel or vacations?
We had an annual vacation when we would go to Sturgis to Bearview Park for my dad was county commissioner and he had to be up there for 3 weeks for the equalization meetings. And so we got to go up there and spend 1 week at the park and they had a swimming pool and we thought we had died and gone to heaven.
Yeah, and your neighboring friends, they didn't have that opportunity because,
No,
well,
they didn't.
I guess
No, they didn't.
if assuming their father wasn't also a county commissioner,
Right.
so
Right.
you probably thought you really had graduated when you
I
went to
suppose,
Sturgis.
I suppose.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else during the grade school years that you want to share?
I think that pretty well covers it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Okay, Twila, let's shift into the high school years, and you were a student who had been a graduate of a country school, and now you're going into the huge city of Sturgis, which is probably a change.
It was frightening.
Yeah, well, yeah, tell me how that felt.
It was very frightening, and and at that time we stayed with our aunt or my parents' aunt and uncle, Hope Cox and his wife, and that was a big change too. We'd never been away from home, and we didn't exactly even know where the school was from their house, and we didn't know any of the school was just teeming with kids, and
Right.
we didn't know any of them,
Yeah.
and it was a frightening experience. But our parents finally bought a house in town then. And
You say finally, although it was really pretty just the first year or
It
so,
was.
wasn't it? I mean, you and Jean were there staying with Hoke and Ada.
Right.
And before that year was out, I guess you were in, Mother was in there, right?
she came to town.
Yeah.
That was in, 43, and she came to town because she was expecting a new baby.
That was pretty exciting.
And so then they bought a house.
So you started high school in the fall of 1943?
Right.
Okay, all right.
So we didn't have to board out.
Yeah.
Just a couple months, I guess, 2 or 3 months, and then they bought a house on Pine Street, and then the baby was born in November. And after that, then I don't know exactly when they bought the house on Davenport Street. Was it that same year? Do you have those records?
I don't know. I think Jean remembers it being that
She
same
probably
year.
does. And then that's where everybody went to high school from then on,
Right,
in that big house on Davenport Street.
right.
And that holds lots of memories, lots of fun memories. We got acquainted with some of the kids in the town school and made some good friends. And I liked school.
You liked high school? Yeah. Did you do pretty well?
I did.
What were your favorite subjects?
Oh, the business classes. I liked typing shorthand.
Shorthand. That's the lost art,
It
isn't it?
is, but I can still do it.
Can you still do it?
I can.
Cool. How about that?
And bookkeeping. I took some bookkeeping classes. And I liked English. I had a wonderful English teacher in high school. A lot of the kids didn't like her. She was pretty severe, but she knew what she was doing. She was a wonderful teacher.
What was her name?
Mrs. Anderson.
Oh, yeah. I remember her as well.
Did you have her?
I did. I don't know how many years, her entire career maybe, was spent there at Sturgis, yeah. And I would characterize her the same way as you did. I liked her. Well, I don't know if I liked her, but I certainly respected her.
I guess.
And she wasn't someone that was really a warm and fuzzy person, but
No.
she really knew her stuff, and you could learn a lot from her.
And at that time, they had home ec classes. And so we took some of those, and I was never too interested in it. And I still remember sitting at a table. We had a table with 4 or 6 kids around the table, with the teacher trying to teach us something about home economics, and I was so bored, and I was so fidgety. I fell out of my chair, and the chair fell on top of me.
In class.
In class.
That's a little
One of my embarrassing moments.
A little embarrassing. That was the only embarrassing moment or thing that you ever encountered, right?
No. I've had many since, but that was pretty bad.
Did you have teachers you did not care for?
Oh, I liked, some I didn't like as well,
Yeah.
but I like most of my teachers.
What, okay, now you're in a bigger school and in a town where there's things to do. In terms of entertainment, and what are the kinds of things that you would do during high school?
Well, they used to have high school dances. I don't know if they still do that or not. I don't think they do anymore, but, and of course, the ones of us coming in from the country all knew how to dance because that was all the entertainment we had in the country.
Yep.
So I always look forward to the high school dances. And of course, there was a movie theater. Loved to go to the movies.
Did you?
Yeah. And we didn't have cars to drive, so we didn't.
Yeah, those years in Sturgis when you were in high school, Mother was there, but
Right.
without
We
a
didn't have a
transportation, without a car.
We were quite a ways from downtown, from that house on Davenport Street, and then when we would come home from school, sometimes she would want to go get groceries, so we'd all walk downtown and help her pack groceries home.
Oh, I see.
It was
Yeah.
not the most convenient thing in the world.
Right. What was it like to have electricity and running water compared
Oh, that was
to
wonderful.
the ranch? You liked that probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a big upgrade.
Did Mother like being in Sturgis?
She loved it. It was so much more convenient for her.
Sure. Right. It was still a lot of work, I'm sure, but.
Oh, there was, and she did a lot of cooking for her family and extras and everything, but it was much more convenient.
Right. And then during the summers and on some weekends, I guess, would she go out to the ranch some
She would,
weekends?
uh-huh.
Yeah. But not.
We would all go out to the ranch on
Yeah.
the weekends sometimes.
Yeah. What were some of the movies that maybe come to mind as your favorites during that era, as well as singers or actors or actresses, songs you like, the type of music that you liked?
Well, I just liked the popular music in that day and age, and country western was not as it wasn't in style, I guess, as much as what it is nowadays, or
Right.
later on in my life. But I liked the country western music. But when I was in high school, it was just popular music. I don't remember western music.
Any particular songs you remember?
I'll have to think about that a little bit.
Okay, all right. Any actors or actresses that,
Oh, I do remember some of the actors. Ronald Reagan was one of them.
oh yeah,
Claudette Colbert. Who were some of the others? I'll have to think on that one a little bit too. Jane Wyman.
oh Jane Wiley. Well, that was, she ended up marrying, or she at one point was
to
married.
Ronald
Yeah.
Reagan. Mhm.
Did you participate in any extracurricular activities?
No, I didn't really.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of the weekends we would go home.
Right.
And so I guess I really didn't.
Did you have any jobs for money outside of?
Oh, we would babysit once in a while, but other than that, we didn't.
Yeah. Do you remember how much you got paid for babysitting?
Have no idea.
Okay. How would you describe the dating scene if some boy asked you out? What might the nature of the date be?
Actually, there wasn't a lot of dating that went on because, nobody had a car to start with.
Yeah.
And I think we did more dating at the old country dances than we did when we got to high school.
Who are some of your friends in high school?
Oh, Rosalie was one of my good friends, and Jeanette Bauer was a good friend.
Did Mother have you do a lot of chores around the 1611 Davenport Street house? Yeah.
She did.
What were those?
But she needed help.
Yeah.
There was always laundry to do, and it was more convenient there, but it was still a lot of work.
Sure. Sure. Were any vacations taken during those 4 years that you were part of?
I just really can't remember anything specific, I guess.
Yeah.
I think money was pretty tight,
Right.
and a big family to raise and get educated. No, I don't really remember any. I remember going back out to Rock Springs where Dad had.
Wyoming,
Yeah, but
That would have been during that period,
Mhm.
probably.
went to Sundance, Wyoming once because Paul and Ada lived over there.
Oh, okay. Did you look forward to going out to the ranch on the weekends or summers, or would you have just as soon stayed in Sturgis?
No, I look forward to going there, back
you?
to the ranch. Mhm.
And Dad wasn't as much a part of your life during high school because he was
Right.
out there.
Right.
Yeah, right. Except, I guess, in the summers, and
Mhm.
he would occasionally come into
He
Sturgis,
did.
I suppose.
Uh-huh. But he never would stay but about one night.
Right. Yeah. Anything else about your high school years that we haven't touched on?
Well, I think that pretty well covers it.
Good years? Were they?
Good years. I liked them. I liked my years after I got out of high school even better, but they were good years.
Okay. Well, in a minute, we'll talk about those years after high school. Okay, Twila, you've graduated from high school, and let me see. You got married in 1952, right?
51.
51. Okay. So we're talking about how many years?
4 years.
4 years. Okay. 1947 to 1951, the time between high school and marriage. What all went on then? Where did you live? What did you do?
Well, I graduated in the spring, of course, of 47. And yeah, I had kind of wanted to go to nurse's training, but I don't know if I wasn't serious enough about it, or if there wasn't enough money available or whatever, but I didn't get there. And I always regretted that, but I worked at a couple small jobs in Sturgis and didn't like either one of them. And then there was a job opening in Belfouche at the hospital for a receptionist and bookkeeper. And I interviewed for the job and I was hired. And I worked there all the while. I lived in Belfouche then until I got married. And those were some of the best years of my life.
Oh, wow. Why were they the best years of your life? Some of the best years?
Oh, it was just, I met new people, and I lived with a lot of nurses that worked at the hospital there, and we became very good friends, and we had a lot of fun together. And it was just a fun time of my life.
Right. Back to the nursing, your interest in nursing. Did you talk to our parents about that? Or was it just something that you kind of kept to yourself?
I think I kind of kept it to myself because, Jean and I were both out of high school at the same time, and that would have been 2 college students, and I just don't think it was, and it wasn't that important at that time to go to college, but I always had in the back of my mind that if I went to college, I would like to go to nurse's training or become a social worker.
Oh, really? Even back then?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's interesting that you had that in your mind. So you lived most of those years in Belfouche, working at that job and living with lifelong friends, or people some of whom became lifelong friends.
They're still friends.
The nurses, and during that period, or as you were moving through that period, were our parents very much involved, or did they just let you do whatever you wanted? I mean, did they give you guidance and that job in Bell sounds like a good one?
No. They knew I was happy. That's why I think they were happy that I was happy.
Yeah.
And I really didn't have a lot of contact because I didn't have a car, and in order to get back to Sturgis, I would have to ride the bus.
Oh, yeah.
And I just, I kind of broke away from home at that time and turned a new page.
Yeah. Do you remember how much money you got paid? What your salary might have been?
I think I got paid $125 a month.
Right. But for a young single woman and sharing the rent with 3 or 4 others, you probably did pretty well, huh?
I did.
What did you mentioned you had a fun time during those years. What are some of the things that you did for entertainment and fun?
Well, we went to a lot of dances. Everybody danced at that stage, and
let me interrupt. You're now in Sturgis, not Elm Springs. So where were the dances? Spearfish, okay.
Every Friday night they had a dance in Spearfish, so we always planned for Friday night dances. And then my one roommate was Shirley Cook, and her folks her parents liked to travel, so once a year they would take a trip, and they took me with them every year that they went on a trip. So
really?
I did some traveling then with them.
Where are the places you went that you remember?
Oh, I remember going to Texas one year.
Texas?
Went to Chicago one year. And a lot of times they had a lot of relatives scattered, and we'd go visit their relatives. One time we went to Kansas. We had some really fun trips.
Yeah. You enjoyed that traveling, yeah.
Traveled by car.
Was there anything about the work environment at the Belfouche Hospital, right? That was particularly memorable? People that you worked with or for, or maybe things that in the work environment that were not so pleasant?
Actually, I don't have any negative thing about my 4 years of work at Belfouche at the hospital. I had a wonderful boss and worked with a lot of really nice people.
Right. Well, it sounds like you've done a good job of explaining why that was a special period in your life.
It was.
And a fun time. Okay.
It was.
Well, let's just leave it at that.
Okay.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Okay, thank you. It's October 2nd, 2016, a beautiful fall afternoon in Wall, South Dakota, sitting at my sister Twila's house on her sun porch. Twila, thank you for participating in our project, and let's begin not talking about you, but talking about our grandparents and what you remember about them, favorite memories. That could be favorite, could be bad as well as good. Type of relationships our parents had with their parents. Okay? But yeah, go for it.
All right. I remember a lot more about our mother's parents than I do about our father's parents, because they lived in Rapid City and we didn't see them very often. But I guess the one thing I do remember about the Cordes side was Emma was a very kind lady.
Emma would have been grandma, or our grandmother.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, she
Cordes.
was Emma Weber, married to Henry Cordes.
Okay.
And she was kind to children, and if occasionally she would send a little trinket home with you if we did stop to see them.
Nice.
And he was always quite intimidating, but I think he was a very nice man, kind man. He just, for a little kid, he was intimidating.
Right, right.
On the Funk side, on my mother's side, Sam Funk was a very stoic looking man, tall, never smiled a lot, and he was quite intimidating also.
Oh, really?
But his wife, Carrie Funk, was a ball of fire, a lot of fun, and I guess I probably knew her better than I did any of the rest of the grandparents. But you never knew what to expect from her. She could be very strict. She had her rules that you had to go by.
Right.
But she could do some pretty off-the-wall things too. But she was a wonderful cook,
Okay.
and we all enjoyed her.
Do you have one or two off-the-wall remembrances of something, something kind of bizarre, crazy that she did?
I don't think anything I should be telling you.
She might come back to haunt you.
Right.
Yeah. Mother was close to not just her parents, but the rest of her siblings,
Right.
brothers, sisters,
Right.
brothers and sisters. That didn't seem to be as much the case with Dad. Is that correct?
No, we didn't know our Cordes cousins or aunts and uncles nearly as much as we did.
Yeah.
Of course, our mother's side of the family lived closer
Right.
to us too.
Right.
So I knew a lot of Grandma Funk's brothers and sisters,
You're right.
and of course all of our mother's siblings.
Right. Right. Was it just the distance, or was there anything else going on with Dad and his family?
Well, I think it was more or less the distance. I think that our father had a disagreement with his father,
I see.
and some business deal, I think, that kind of left a rift between the two of them.
I see. I see. Okay.
And I think it eventually kind of healed up, but it was there.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. Those things happen. They do.
They do.
So, okay. Anything else you want to share about our grandparents?
I think that pretty well
Okay.
covers it, that, you know, I had some wonderful times with Ada, our mother's sister.
Oh, yes.
And with her brothers.
That
But-
would have been Dwight and Bud and Ernest.
Ernest.
And there are lots of stories about each of them, I suppose.
Yes, there
yeah.
are.
Right, yeah.
We don't want to spend the whole
But,
afternoon.
yeah, right. So, okay. Well, I think you've done a nice job of sharing your recollections. So let's move on to another question. Okay, Twila, let's shift now away from our grandparents to your own life, and we'll begin at the beginning. What do you remember about your life prior to the first grade? Where were you living? What kinds of memories do you have of friends, neighbors, good times, bad times, etc.?
All right, before the first grade, I was living at the Potook Ranch. It was a very isolated ranch on the Cheyenne River. And I have nothing but good memories about it. We didn't have a lot of company. I had a lot of brothers and sisters that were born down there, and we just had to make our own entertainment. We played outside a lot. I was with my father a lot because I liked to ride horseback, and we had a playhouse that we played a lot in. We made a lot of mud pies. I don't think people know what mud pies are anymore. But I had a great childhood.
Good. Tell me about the house down there, what you remember about the house itself.
I thought it was a mansion, and I think it was a nicer house than a lot of people had, because the fellow that had owned it before my dad bought it had he had money to spend on a house.
Right.
But looking back, I can see it was a rather small house.
Yeah.
But it had some really pretty features. That had a big picture window in it
Wow.
with frosted glass. And I eventually, in my house in Belfouche, when we remodeled it, we put that window, we took the window out of the Potook house.
Did you?
Uh-huh. Nobody was living in it at
Sure.
that time.
Yeah.
And we put it in my house in Belfouche, so it had a lot of memories.
Well, that's great.
Yeah,
Great. I did not know that. Yeah. Okay.
but
Was there electricity down there?
not per se like we have it today, but
Yeah.
we had a Delco plant
Oh,
that,
a gas-powered generator or
yes,
something
yes,
down at the Potook.
yes.
And that was a real luxury compared to
It was.
compared to the neighbors, probably.
It was, but we also had our kerosene lamps because you could only use it, you
Yeah.
know, a couple hours a day probably, but it was better than what a lot of people had.
Right, yeah. Telephone, indoor plumbing.
Had a telephone, no indoor plumbing. We hauled water from a spring up west of the house, and that was a big treat to go with Dad to haul water.
And what would you do with the water when you hauled it? Or
We had a storage tank at the house.
a cistern or something?
Uh-huh,
Okay.
a cistern. And then a pump on the cistern, and we would have to, you know, pump the water and carry it into the house for drinking and washing and doing dishes and that type of thing. And laundry.
Yes.
There was always laundry.
Right. You mentioned that you preferred being outdoors instead of indoors. Mother was indoors, being a ranch wife and mother. Did you help her with chores or
Well,
cooking or anything?
I actually helped my dad
Mm-hmm.
more than I did her, because my older sister Jean didn't like the outdoors. She liked the indoors, so
Oh,
she
okay.
did the indoor stuff. And my mother actually didn't care about me in the kitchen because I had a lot of wrecks.
Did Mother have any help, or was she just, I mean, apart from Jean, did she do everything by herself?
She actually had hired help quite often. you know, just some of the neighbor girls that were, oh, probably teenagers, but they were looking for work and a little extra money. So she had help.
Yeah, well, okay.
But she needed help.
Sure. It was a busy life with...
It was a busy life for a wife.
Yes.
It was a hard life for a wife.
Mm-hmm. Did mother complain?
No, no,
Yeah.
she didn't.
On the Potoc, which I never lived there, of course, but you did, and it was isolated, I know that. Did you ever have any visitors or company?
Not a lot.
Yeah.
And the ones that did come to visit us usually came horseback because it was, we lived on the river and you'd have to cross the river to get from one side to the other, and we just really didn't have a lot of visitors.
Yeah. In the evening, I mean, we talked pretty much about things that happened during the daytime. You go out riding horses with Dad, and Mother's busy in the kitchen and stuff. What about the evening family life? Was that just basically going to bed, or did you have entertainment of any sort?
I think it was mostly, we did occasionally play some cards, but not before first grade, you know.
Well, that's true. Yeah, right, right. Yeah, that's true.
After we got older, we would
Yeah.
play cards.
Well, maybe we'll pick up on that when we actually shift to the next part of your life. Well, anything else you want to share about prior to first grade?
First grade, I was homeschooled.
Okay, let me interrupt right there and kind of set the stage for that. Okay, Twila, let's continue. We took care of things prior to your entering grade school, so let's pick up on that. Tell me about grades 1 through 8, where you went, teachers, etc.
My first grade I was homeschooled. Jean and I were both homeschooled by our mother. She was a teacher. And I was not old enough to be in school, but I was a nuisance because I always was interfering with her trying to teach Jean, so I finally decided I would just go to school with Jean. And we went through all 12 years of school together. And I don't think I was really ready for school because I could not sit still. My dad used to call me Twisty Twila.
Twisty Twila.
And he was good about trying to teach us. We had flashcards, and he would flash the cards, and we were supposed to tell him what word it was. And I can still remember very distinctly. I could never remember the word this and that, I think. And I would twist and spin and turn and hit and get it wrong every time, and he was very patient, and I finally did learn the difference between those two words.
Oh. So the homeschooling, did you say grades 1 or grades 1 and 2?
I think it was just grade 1.
All right, okay. And then what happened?
Then we went to the Dalzell School, which was 5 miles over rough terrain to get there. And we did have a car, but we didn't have much for a road. So I don't remember that we missed a lot of school, though. We usually got to school, and we went, you know, through the eight grades there. And I remember most of my teachers, liked most of my teachers. And it was kind of a new experience because we intermingled then with other children, because up to that point,
Right.
we didn't have neighbor children.
Did you have certain subjects in grade school that you liked or didn't like?
Well, I always liked spelling, it was probably at the top, and I liked English, I liked reading. Math was so-so. I hated geography, hated social studies, hated civics. But I liked school overall. I liked school, and in those years you didn't have any homework, so you just went to school, came home, and
Yeah, that was it.
that was it.
And from what I gather, Dad would since there was one car, he would, even though the terrain was rough, he would typically drive you in the morning, because
Right.
Mother, I don't believe, drove.
No.
Or at least not very well. And then he would come and pick you up in the afternoon.
Right.
Did you ever have to walk?
Once, occasionally, not often.
That was a fairly long haul.
It
wasn't
was a long walk.
Yeah.
But I remember him taking us to grade school, and Monday morning we always had to have a current event, and I hated that kind of stuff. And of course, our dad was always glued to the radio, so
Yes.
he knew all the current events, and he would give each one of us a current event, and I concentrated and memorized it till I got to school, and then I immediately forgot it.
You mentioned that you remember most of your teachers, and most of them were good. I do remember you sharing with me one teacher, I believe Alice Dalzell, that taught in such a way that you had more recess than you normally would. Would you
Yeah.
like to share that?
I actually don't remember much about that, but I think Jean does.
Okay.
We did. We had more recess time, and she had a boyfriend, and they would come, and they would sit outside in the car for half a day, and be boyfriend, girlfriend while we just played.
You kids probably loved it when the boyfriend showed
yes.
up. Yeah,
Oh, yes.
right, of course, of course. Who were some of your close friends in grade school?
Rosalie Finner was probably my closest friend in grade school, and she's remained a friend to this day.
That's cool.
Yeah, I actually stood up with her when she got married.
What was home life like? You're a little older now. In the evenings, was there how did you entertain yourselves?
Well, there was always the cooking that had to be done, which I didn't help a lot with, but I helped with the cleanup afterwards. So, by the time we got cooking done, the meal served, the cleanup done, there really wasn't a lot of time for any
Right.
extracurriculars.
Yeah.
We did play some cards. Dad liked to play checkers.
Yeah.
I was never very good at that. He always beat me. But we just had our own home entertainment with a few board games and cards.
You mentioned he liked to listen to the radio. What did he listen to?
He listened to the news, WNAX Yankton News.
Would you describe our family at that point in time as being wealthy or poor or what?
I think everybody was poor at that time. I never thought about us being wealthy, but I think perhaps we had a little edge on some of the people.
Yeah, yeah. Well, those are difficult times we're talking about the 1930s
Right.
in part, right?
Right.
Most of the 30s, yeah, right. During that period, the family moved from the Potook, where you spent your first few years,
Right.
to a different ranch. What was the reasons for that?
Well, I think actually our father lost the Potook Ranch,
Financially,
Financially.
yeah, right, during the Depression.
right, during the Depression. So then that was part of the reason we moved up on top, so we would be closer to school, and because he was in financial trouble.
Right.
But, eventually, after he lost the Potook, then he eventually bought other land on top and down on the river again. So his operation changed, but it was relatively in the same area.
Yeah, right. And when you were up on top, so to speak, you were closer to the school.
Right,
It was only a couple of miles at that point.
2 miles.
Did Dad continue to drive you, or did you
He did some of the time, but we walked a lot.
more then because it was
Right.
a shorter distance?
Right.
What was the community of Dalzell like at that point in time?
It was a busy community. There were a lot of people who lived there. There was a Dalzell general store and post office and creamery. They sold everything from groceries to clothing to equipment, farm equipment.
Wow.
It was amazing to have such a big store in that isolated area.
No kidding. And of course, there were a lot of people there, at least compared to today.
Right.
Let me see, anything else during those grade school years? Well, we talked about home life in terms of playing cards and stuff in the evening. What about outside of the home life? Was there activities that you ever went to? Entertainment beyond that?
Not really. There was a Elm Springs Hall, the community hall up there, but we didn't, that was more for the Elm Springs people. We didn't really, they would have some country dances up there.
Did you go to those?
Some, as I got older.
Yeah. But in grade school, maybe did our parents go occasionally and take?
They did.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And we always look forward to the school Christmas program.
Oh, yes, yes. And that was in a one-room school.
One-room school with a lot of students.
Yeah.
And all the parents would come. I don't know how they ever got everybody into the schoolhouse.
And of course, the school didn't have electricity.
No.
It didn't have running water.
No.
Okay. Or a telephone, I guess, either. Did you have any hobbies during grade school?
I don't believe I did.
Mm-hmm.
I always had lots of cats I played with.
Yeah. Any chores?
We had a few chores to do. We had to help with dishes and hauling water and stuff, but nothing.
Did you ever get into trouble at school or at home?
No, I was a perfect child.
Oh, okay, all right. Takes care of that one. What about any vacations during grades 1 through 8 in that day and time?
I don't recall that we went on any big long vacations. I know we went up. We went to Rock Springs, Wyoming once, and went out to Sundance, Wyoming once to see Paul and Ada, aunt and uncle. And each summer, our father was a county commissioner, and the Board of Equalization would meet in July for 3 weeks, and he would rent a cabin for us at Bear Butte Park, and we would get to spend a week in Bear Butte Park, and we thought we had died and gone to heaven.
Oh, yeah,
they had a
really?
swimming pool, and they had green grass, and
Probably even had running water in the cabin?
Yes,
Yeah, wow.
yes.
Electricity?
yes,
Yeah, that was,
that was the highlight.
all right. That was the vacation for sure. And that would last for 3 weeks in the summer.
We only stayed 1 week. Our
I see.
dad was up there 3 weeks,
Okay,
but we
yeah.
stayed 1 week.
Okay. You've done a great job, Twila, talking about those 8 years. Is there anything else that you might want to add?
Oh, let's see. I can remember the name of my first horse.
Oh,
He was coal black, and his name was Pickaninny.
okay, Pickaninny.
And then we had a pony called Peanuts, and he was ornery. He bucked everybody off.
Yeah.
Had another horse that was called Kino. He was big and tall, but he had a nice smooth gait, and he's one I liked to ride.
And you liked horses and kitties.
I did. And I hated chickens.
Oh, yeah, like Mother, right? Mother didn't like chickens, did she?
No.
Okay. Well, listen, thank you, and we'll move on. Twila, we just finished talking about grade school, grades 1 through 8 out at Elm Springs. You graduated, or actually Dalzell, I guess. You graduated from that one-room country school and found yourself in the huge metropolis of Sturgis. Much bigger community, schools huge compared to your one-room school. How did that feel?
Very intimidating. And we lived with our aunt and uncle because we couldn't travel back and forth to school. So we lived with our aunt and uncle, and we didn't know our way around. We didn't even know how to get from their house to the schoolhouse. But we learned, we walked, and it was frightening because we had all these different classrooms, different teachers coming from a one-room schoolhouse.
Right.
It was just a real challenge.
Yeah, it would have been. It would have been. I can see why you would have been, as you say, intimidated. You mentioned that you were living with mother's somewhat distant relatives when you first moved in.
Right.
How long did you live with them, and then what happened?
Well, we didn't live with them, I don't know, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and then my dad bought a house in town, and mother moved to town because she was expecting the last baby of the family. And,
that was a pretty big event, as I understand it.
Of course. So we settled into our own home, and then we lived there for, I'm not sure how long we lived in that house. The baby was born, and I remember going to the maternity home to visit mother and the new baby, and then when she brought the baby home, and how excited we were all over this new baby. And then eventually, I think within that same year probably, we moved to a bigger house on Davenport Street because I guess our parents realized that there were 7 children to educate and it was going to take many years, and they needed a bigger house, so my dad bought the 1611 Davenport house, and that's where all 7 of us lived to go to school.
And mother was in there during the
Yes.
school year.
Yes.
Dad was on the ranch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
On weekends, did you go to the ranch?
We did occasionally. It was, what is it from Sturgis out there to the ranch?
Well, it's about 75 miles.
Yeah, 80 miles or so. So, and the cars weren't like they are nowadays. So
Yeah.
we didn't go back and forth a lot, but we did more than you would guess.
Mm-hmm. Then in the summers, you would go back.
We spent the summer
To the ranch.
at the ranch.
Right. Once you got over the intimidation and got more settled in, how did you feel about your high school years?
I liked them.
Mm-hmm.
They were fun.
Yeah.
I liked school. Liked most all of my teachers. We didn't have any girl athletic sports, and I kind of miss that part of it. But overall, I enjoyed high school.
Good. You know, you mentioned no athletic events for girls at that point in time. That reminds me, flipping back here quickly, to grade school, you were a star athlete, were you not?
Well, I would like to think so, but we had one day of the year, of the school year, we had a track meet in Sturgis, South Dakota, all the rural Meade County schools. So we were competing against a lot of kids, but I was able to outrun most of them and outjump most of them.
Yeah.
So I look forward to that
Right.
track meet in Sturgis.
Right. You even held some records for
I did.
a number of
For
years.
quite a few years. And
Right.
finally my sister Carolyn came along and broke my one record. Oh, but I haven't held a grudge against her.
Well, that's good. That's good. That's a good thing. Yeah, yeah. Well, let's shift back then to high school. And most of that time was spent in the bigger house on 1611 Davenport Street. Who were your closest friends during high school?
Jeanette Bonor was probably my closest friend, and Rosalie, she was a year behind me in school, but she came to Sturgis to school too.
And you and Jean though continued to be in the same
Right,
grade.
Right.
What subjects did you like and dislike in high school?
Well, I always liked English. I loved the typing and shorthand and bookkeeping. classes that I took. Those were my favorites.
Subjects you didn't like?
Let's see, what didn't I like? Oh, I didn't like algebra.
Yeah.
I did not like algebra at all, but I did like geometry.
Oh, uh-huh.
And I guess algebra is probably my most disliked subject.
Any teachers that stand out either on the good end or the awful end?
I liked my English teacher, Lillian Anderson. I thought she was a very good teacher. A lot of the kids did not like her, but I did. And I had a teacher, her name was Mrs. Culture, and I liked her. And she liked me, and she tried to encourage me to go into education, but I never did do it.
You're now in a town of, some size compared to Dalzell anyway. So there's more entertainment opportunities, and you're older. What did you do for entertainment?
Well, of course, there was a movie theater, which we had never been to before, so we went to a lot of movies. And they would have high school dances. We grew up dancing at the country dances, at Elm Springs and Enning. So I love dancing, going to movies.
Do you remember what the admission to the movie might have been? How much it cost?
Probably a quarter.
Yeah, okay. In that era, were there, and you mentioned the movies, were there movie stars, actors and actresses that you
Oh, yes.
that you really liked?
I liked Ronald Reagan and Jane Wyman, Claudia Colbert. There were some classy stars at that time.
Right. What type of music?
I liked the popular music, and I liked some of the country western. It didn't seem like we had a lot of country western. I guess we did, but I like both kinds.
If you or your friends were to go on a date, what would a date involve?
It would have to be a movie. That's about all there was to do.
Right. Did you have any jobs during high school?
Just
For money?
Just babysitting. Babysitting, so.
What about around the house? Did mother?
Well, she kept us busy around the house. There's always laundry, of course, and cooking and cleaning. She liked to have a clean house. So she kept us busy.
Right.
We never had any homework when I was in high school.
Really?
No,
Interesting.
never brought any books home. But Liddy and Red Pellerin stayed at our house because they were kind of in transition. Didn't have a place to stay. And we would come home from school and have a bite to eat and sit down at the table and we played cards all night long. That was my homework.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Did you participate in any extracurricular activities in high school?
Well, they didn't have any athletic.
Yeah, right.
And that was what I was more drawn to, rather than music or drama. So I really didn't.
Ever get in trouble with teacher, school, or mother?
Oh, nothing real serious, I don't think.
During that period, were there any vacation or travels out of beyond?
Not really.
Yeah. You have any funny stories in high school things that happened to you, or maybe one of your friends, or?
Oh, let's see. I think I told you before about the home economics class where I could not sit still. I was not interested in home economics, and I fell out of my chair. And that wasn't bad enough. 2 days later, I fell out of it a second time.
What? Just because you couldn't sit still?
I could not sit still through that class.
Twisty Twila.
Yeah.
Was that embarrassing?
Very.
But you probably laughed your way out of it or through it.
I think so.
Yeah, right.
And
Your,
my sister Jean was horrified.
yeah, well, I see, yeah. Your overall remembrance, recollection of those years were positive?
Very positive.
Anything else about high school?
Oh, nothing noteworthy, I guess. I'll probably think of something after we get done with the interview, but.
Well, when we do, we'll come back and
Okay.
pick it up. So, okay, thanks. Twila, after graduating from high school, and what year would that have been, by the way?
47.
1947. And before you got married, which was 1951, I guess.
Right.
There were 4 years roughly in there. What happened during that time?
Well, let's see, after I graduated in the spring, I didn't go to college because I had thought I would like to go to college. I wanted to be a social worker or a nurse. But I also knew there were kind of financial, with 7 children to raise, my parents didn't have a lot of extra money, and I thought I would go find a job and earn my own money. And so the first job I landed then was in Belfouche at a hospital where I was the receptionist. And I would admit the patients, dismiss the patients and collect their money, run the switchboard, do the bookkeeping, do the secretarial work.
Wow.
And,
Wow. You did it all.
I loved the job. It was fun.
Yeah.
But of course, nowadays they would have a different position for each,
Sure.
or a different person for each position. But it was a small hospital, but I liked my boss, and I didn't know soul when I went up there. And I was placed in the Lutheran parsonage with 3 other girls that were living there, and we all became very close friends. 2 of them were nurses, and we've remained lifelong friends.
How nice.
And after we lived in the parsonage for a while, and we decided we needed our own apartment. So we had our own apartment, and we had 4 years of fun.
Worked hard and played hard.
Right.
Well, tell me about the fun. What did fun mean?
Fun meant that we went to, in Spearfish, they had Friday night dances. We went to every Friday night dance. And they had a roller skating rink, and I liked to roller skate. We went roller skating. Of course, they had a movie theater. We had a few dates to go to the movies.
Belle had a movie theater, I guess.
Right. And my one roommate had some parents that liked to travel, so they would take a trip every year. And they would invite me to go with him, so we did some traveling. They were good years.
Good years. Fun years, it sounds like.
Fun years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When you were, after you graduated, or maybe even before you graduated, I'm talking about high school, and you were kind of trying to figure out what to do. You thought about nursing, social work, going to college, and of course that you ended up working in Bell instead. You are now officially out of the nest. Did
Right.
our parents give you guidance, encouragement, or interfere, or how did that? What was their role as you left the nest?
Well, I guess they thought we were mature enough to have good sense and not make any too dreadful mistakes. And they still had 5 children that they were trying to raise at home.
Yeah, right.
So I think they kind of trusted us to be off on our own.
Uh-huh. Right.
One fun episode that I remember that happened when I was with my roommates, I got wind of the fact that Guy Lombardo, he was one of our favorite
Oh, yes.
performers, was going to be in Sioux Falls. And we had every record that he had ever made, and we danced to every record that he had ever made, and we thought it'd be such fun to go to Sioux Falls, but Sioux Falls was like a different planet almost.
Yes.
But we finally got our money put together and we chartered a plane
Really? Really?
to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and got to see Guy Lombardo. And it just so happened that the man that managed the ballroom down there where Guy Lombardo was playing came over and asked me to dance. And he asked me where I was from and brought me to Sioux Falls. And I said, well, Guy Lombardo, of course. And then I was telling him the story.
Right.
And he thought it was interesting that we would charter a plane to get that far to see Guy Lombardo. So then he took all three of us up to the stage and introduced us to Guy Lombardo.
Wow.
And we each got to choose a song that he played for us.
Gee.
And then when the dance was over, he came down and
He being Guy Lombardo?
Guy Lombardo
Really?
and said, would you like, or he asked where we were staying, and we were happened to be staying at the same hotel he was. So he said, jump on our bus, we'll take you there. So we rode on the Guy Lombardo bus, and then we went to his room and had a drink with him.
Wow.
So that was just like meeting Elvis Presley in your day.
Well, oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, and to get that personalized attention
Right.
from him and spend a little one-on-one time with him, yeah, that was incredible. You must have been pretty heady and had a good story to tell when you went back to Belle Fourche, didn't you?
It was in the paper. We put it in, it ended up in the paper because we knew the publisher of the Belle Fourche paper. And so he heard the story and he wrote up a story about it.
Wow, that's a great story. Thanks for sharing that. I know those were fundamentally good years, but if I recall correctly, you did have an accident, car accident.
I did.
During that time,
I
too.
did. I think it was the first year that I was up there. And we had been to a church picnic at Bearview Lake in Sturgis, and on the way home, there was a road in Belle Fourche that's developed now into a housing unit, but it was just an open space at that time, and it was a roller coaster road, and that's what they called it, the roller coaster road. And it was kind of fun to go over the roller coasters, see how fast you could go. But when you came to the end of it, there was a T. And we came to the end of it and thought there was another hill to go over, and we hit the T and the bank, and the car rolled, and I broke my pelvis bone and was laid up the rest of the summer. And my one roommate, then she broke her back. She was laid up for about 6 months, I guess, but had a body cast.
Wow. Well, I know this is your interview, not mine, but I'm going to share with you my recollection of that, and that is after you got somewhat recovered, you spent some time out at the ranch.
I did.
And I remember sitting out on the porch, and I was looking down to the end of the road, and here came an ambulance. And I don't know if I've been told or not, but I don't know that I had. And lo and behold, here you were in the ambulance. And I guess you stayed out at the ranch at least for a while.
I did. I was supposed to be bedfast. I wasn't supposed to be up on walking on a broken pelvis bone for 6 weeks, I think. And so I decided the ranch was the place to recover, and the ambulance took me to the ranch.
Well, it sounds like those were good, fun years that you spent with your
They were.
friends, your roommates, and going to dances and so on. Is there anything else during those 4 years that come to mind that you want to share?
Well, I think that's the main part of it.
All right, good. Thanks. Twila, you were living in Belle, having a good, fun life with your girlfriends, and you met your husband. Tell me a little bit about that.
Of course, we met at a dance.
Of course.
Where else?
Yeah.
And I guess my first impression was that he was nice looking and a very good dancer.
Wow.
And my dad has said to me afterward, you don't want to marry somebody with brains in their feet.
That's a funny comment.
But anyway, That's how we met.
Okay. Probably at Spearfish at the dance.
Yes.
Huh? What was Buck doing at that point in his life?
He was in college.
Oh, in college over there. That's Spearfish. Okay.
Spearfish.
How long did you
But he was from Belfast.
go? Okay. How long did you date before you were married?
Oh, about 2 years, I
2 years?
guess.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay.
And then we got married and started raising our family.
And you got married in 1951?
Let's see, 51.
Okay. Late. I remember. I was your ring bearer.
The ring bearer, you were.
It was in December, I think, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, again, I don't want to tell my story. This is
No.
your story, but I was so embarrassed to be with a girl. I mean, I was
Oh,
at
the
that
flower girl?
age, and I remember taking off and leaving the flower girl back in the back of the church, and I just scooted right up to the front without her. You probably don't remember that.
I
you were
don't
too,
remember
you were too
that.
busy focusing on the service.
But I know who the flower girl was.
Who's the flower girl?
She was Paula McGinnis.
Oh, okay.
She was Buck's niece.
Okay. Well, apologize to her.
I will. I see her.
For me for abandoning her at the.
She was only 2 years old and you abandoned her?
I did. Yeah. I was just too embarrassed. So, anything else about your romance and meeting of Buck?
No, I think that's, we just had a fun courtship.
Right. So, okay. Well, let's end that one and move on. Okay, Twila, you and Buck met and you were married in 1951. And we're now going to talk about a huge chunk of your life, roughly 65 years. So let's just kind of work through it pretty much chronologically. And you can begin by sharing with me where you and Buck lived when you first got married. And we can just kind of go from there. And what kind, and his occupation and what you were involved in, etc.
All right, well, he had gone to college for a year, I guess, and then we got married, and we moved to a ranch west of Belfouche, about 5 miles west of Belfouche, but it was a gravel road. It's paved anymore, but it was gravel at that time. And that's where we started our family.
Mm-hmm.
And we ran sheep. Really.
Sheep.
Mm-hmm. Our dad had given us 15 head of heifer as a wedding gift.
I
And so
see.
we had 15 head of cattle, but we had mostly sheep. And we did some farming, some winter wheat farming. But throughout those years, I had 5 children, or we had 5 children. And things were going along pretty smoothly. We were trying to pay for the ranch, raise 5 children. And then in July of 1973, just suddenly Buck died of a heart attack. And that was a pretty devastating blow to all of us. And,
Yeah, of course.
But thank goodness we had strong family ties, and we picked up the pieces, and my 2 oldest sons were old enough then to be part of the ranching operation, and so by then we had branched into cattle and forgotten the sheep. But so the 2 sons and I formed a partnership, a 3-way partnership, and I willed them a third. They each got a third of the ranch, and I kept a third of it. And so we operated that as a partnership then, and we were able to make it work.
Good for you. There's no way you could have been prepared
Oh,
for
no.
that. Let me see. 1973, you would have been
43.
43, and suddenly you're a single mom with 5 children.
Right,
A lot of responsibility.
yes.
You must have been.
I was overwhelmed, I think. I think I was in a daze, though,
Sure.
for a long time. I just went through the motions and got stuff done that had to be done. And
Right.
we had a neighbor couple that lived they were our neighbors. They joined us to the west. They had a ranch. They were an older couple. They had no children. And they kind of took me under their wing. And we got to be very good friends of theirs. And then when they got, she was quite a bit older than he was. And she passed away. And then we kind of took him under our wing.
I see.
And, you know, we would have him, well, he would stop every other day and play cards, and and we'd have him for Christmas dinners and stuff. But
What was their name?
McKay, Bob and Hazel
Bob and
McKay.
Hazel McKay.
And then he got to the point in his life where his health was not good, so he decided he was going to have to sell that ranch or do something with it. And to start with, he was going to give it to the game fish and parks. And we thought that was kind of a mistake because it was a very nice ranch. And so we visited with him about it, and he offered us, it was a big ranch. We couldn't afford to buy the whole thing, so we decided to buy half of it.
I see.
And another neighbor bought the other half of it. So that's how we expanded then.
Okay.
So when I look back and I think, I must have been out of my mind. I had 5 kids to raise.
Yes.
And
yes.
our home ranch wasn't paid for, and then to bite off a chunk like that. But it all worked out.
You made it work.
God was on our side.
Well, God was on your side, but I think you need to give yourself some credit.
Oh,
And, you know, your children as well.
I had good children,
Right.
and they all helped, and we knew we had to support one another and work together, or
Sure.
it wasn't going to work, so
Right.
it
Right.
did.
Yeah.
Then Kim, my oldest son, got through college, and all 3 of my girls got through college. Chris was one I have to give a lot of credit to because he stayed home and helped manage the ranch then.
Right. You do. You do. Well, let's talk a little bit about your children, all 5, without going into enormous detail on each one, but nevertheless, they're a critical part of your life. Kim, the oldest, tell me about him, what he's doing.
He got through college, he got married, his wife was a teacher, and they have 4 children, and they're still in the ranching business. He's on the McKay place, he and his family are on the McKay place, and then Chris, the second son, he's
Now,
married.
before going on to Chris, let me see. Kim and Colleen have 4 children. That'd be 3 sons
3 sons and a daughter.
and a daughter. And the sons are,
All 3 of the sons have gone through the school of mines with
Okay.
engineering degrees. The daughter is in Helena, in a nurse's training program.
okay, right, okay.
Okay, then
Let's
Chris got
move
married.
to Chris, yeah.
Chris got married to a local girl, and she was from Belfouche. And they live on the home place, and they have 3 children. None of them are married. Their oldest son graduated from SDSU, and he has a job with Peter Kiewit in California. And their 2 daughters are still students at SDSU.
Okay, okay. Let's, we'll move along to what? Billy Joel, right?
Billy Joe was our first daughter, and she graduated from Black Hills. Also, she went to Aberdeen. Actually, yes, she went to Aberdeen for most of her college years, and she has a teaching degree. And her husband was from Belfouche, Mark Winkus, and he has an engineering degree from School of Mines also. And their jobs have taken them to Pennsylvania and the East Coast, and that's where they live now. And they have a son of their own who's a college student at Penn State, and they have 2 adopted Korean children that are, the oldest one is a freshman in college in York, Pennsylvania, and the youngest one is a senior in high school.
Okay. Okay. And they live in Pennsylvania.
They live in
You mentioned
Pennsylvania.
near York, right?
Stewartstown is the name of their town.
Go on.
Okay, the next one is Carrie, and she's married to Sam Johnston, but she also graduated from Black Hills State as a teacher. And they live on a ranch north of Wasta, Elm Springs.
Yeah, right.
They have 4 children. Their oldest son just graduated from SDSU. They have a set of twins that are college students in Spearfish. And their youngest daughter is the senior in high school here in Wall. And so I guess I have been fortunate to be able to spend probably more time with them than any of the rest of my children or grandchildren, because they live close by and their
Sure.
kids have gone to school here.
Right, right. And then finally, Jana.
Jana. I'll have to back up and say that Sam Johnston also graduated from SDSU.
Right,
But
yeah.
and Jana, she's the baby of the family, and she graduated from Spearfish also as a teacher. And then she went on to get her master's degree. And she's got a degree in special ed and elementary. And she is now a librarian in the school system in Gillette. She and her husband, Scott Johnson, live in Gillette. And they have 3 children. The oldest one didn't go to college, but he has a good job
Where does he live?
in Spearfish.
Perfect, okay.
Their second one is a college student at Laramie. And he started out as a major in theology, but he has changed now to elementary education. And then they have a daughter who is a freshman in college in Sheridan, Wyoming.
Okay, okay, okay.
So
Great.
out of that whole bunch, I have 17 grandchildren.
Oh, yeah. No, you don't have any great-grandchildren yet, but,
I have 2.
oh, do you? Okay, okay.
Kim has, his second son was married, but he's going through a divorce, but he has 2
Okay.
boys.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah, right, right, right. So 17 grandchildren, 17 grandchildren.
Right.
2 grandchildren.
Right. Makes me feel old.
You don't act it. You don't act it. Oh, yeah. Well, wonderful family. I know they're very important to you.
They are.
And you've had your struggles with losing your husband at such an early age, but to your credit, you've made it work. Let's back up a little bit. You and Kim and Chris, in large part, were suddenly managing the ranch
Right.
after Buck's death. You now live in Wall. How did that happen?
Okay. After my first husband died, we kept that ranch together and expanded it, bought the neighboring ranch for 10 years. And then Milton Trask came into my life. I had known him all my life,
Yes.
but he resurfaced. And he had been through a divorce too and had children of his own, but they were mostly grown too. So we just always enjoyed each other's company. We had fun together, and so we were married. And
What year would that have been?
I think now, 82.
Okay.
I'm 82.
Okay.
And we had a good life together.
Right.
We lived at Quinn. He had a ranch in Quinn, and we lived at Quinn, and we had a great life together. He was a fun person, but he was also very. You asked me about romance in my life. He was very romantic.
Oh, how nice! How nice! How nice!
And then his health started to fail, so we built the house in Wall, and we moved into Wall. And he passed away then in 6 years ago.
6 years ago, 2010. So that was a difficult time for you as well, I'm sure.
It was.
Right.
He had been sick, and we finally had to resort to a nursing home, and it was not quality life for him. So he was ready to go.
Sure, sure.
We're never ready to let go.
No,
but
that's the thing. It was much harder on those left behind often
Right.
than the one that moves on. Well, let me see. I think you've kind of covered this, but let me ask it a little more explicitly. As you look back on those roughly 65 years, what aspects were the most stressful or difficult? And then I'll ask the opposite of that. What was the most joyful or uplifting?
Okay, the most difficult, of course, would be the death of a husband.
Yes.
And I've always been a pretty firm believer, but it brings you closer to God, and to we're all going to face the same thing.
Yeah.
It's going to happen to all of us, and I was so devastated at the time, but I've always kind of been a believer too, that there's a rainbow at the end of all of it. And the rainbow, in my case, I guess, was that it drew us together so closely as a family.
Right.
My 5 children
Yes.
and myself.
Yes.
And we've had our disagreements and our arguments
Sure,
and ups and downs, but overall, we are very close-knit, as
Right.
well as all the grandchildren.
That's so nice.
So that's the rainbow.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Okay. And that pretty much covers both the downsides and the upsides,
It
it
does.
sounds like. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Okay. I think we've covered most of what needed to be covered. Anything else that you want to share about those years?
Oh, I think that pretty well covers it, I guess. The biggest, I guess I would say that my biggest accomplishment was being a mother. I love being a mother. I love being a parent, even though it was a single parent.
Yeah.
And I think parenting should be fun.
I agree. Yeah. Those are some of my best memories too.
Really? That's good.
It is, absolutely. Yeah. Well, let's stop there. Twila, let's get into sort of the final part of the interview, which is this sort of a hodgepodge of things to talk about. Let's begin by me asking you about Mother and Dad in terms of their character and personalities and temperament and a few things like that. How would you characterize our parents?
I don't know. I would characterize them as very solid people, and they were very loyal to family and friends. I think they expected quite a bit out of the children, but they just had an air about them that you respected them.
Right.
And so you weren't going to screw up too badly because you didn't want to disappoint them.
That's right. Yeah.
And then you did not only had them to answer to, you had all the aunts and uncles and cousins, and so you had a lot of people to measure up to.
Right, and all of those people you didn't want to disappoint
No,
the whole family or the whole neighborhood
no.
or whatever the case was. Dad was he laid back or not? Was he emotional or unemotional, or how do you?
He just always seemed so solid to me, and he was laid back. I don't know that I ever saw him really ruffled over anything. He got a little excited about politics sometimes. He had his favorite candidates and that type of thing, but as far as his interaction with family and neighbors, I don't remember that he was ever hard to deal with.
And he had some stressful times in his life at age, what, 55 or something like that. He was bankrupt.
Right.
And he had 7 kids to think about.
Right.
And a wife.
Right.
So.
And I guess maybe I was naive, but I didn't even realize he was having financial troubles or any of that was going on, because they kept it pretty much between the two of them.
Right.
I guess they didn't want to worry us.
Sure. Well, I'm sure they didn't. Were they very strict disciplinarians?
Oh, I got scolded some. Got slapped a few times by our mother. Probably got spanked a time or two.
Yeah.
Our dad, he always had his leather gloves in his pocket. He'd whack you with his leather gloves once in a while if you got too out of line.
Get your attention?
Yeah.
Were they very religious?
Although I guess, you know, where we lived, we didn't have church, so it's a little hard to say. I know our dad was raised in a very religious home. But I don't recall that he went to church a lot.
Yeah. What do you think brought them the most joy or fulfillment in life? And it may be different for each of them.
I think probably their family brought them the most joy.
Right.
And they had their hardships for sure. The work was hard.
Yeah.
And the financial thing was hard, and then they had the car accident that Kay was in. That was really hard on them.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more about
that. That was the only time I ever really saw my dad emotional.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I saw him with tears in his eyes at that time.
I know that was very upsetting, and it went on, I guess, for some time because of Kay's condition, and she was on the verge of death, right?
She was, and then she was unconscious, of course, but they just didn't give them any hopes of her ever regaining consciousness, and it did go on for a month. So they thought they had lost their daughter.
Right, right. And Dad was tearful and very emotional at that point.
He was.
What did you learn from them?
Don't screw up.
Well, okay. Were they involved in the life of the community?
Oh, somewhat. You know, they would go to the community functions, but there really weren't a lot of clubs and organizations and that type of thing. Our dad was always a Mason. He belonged to the Masonic Lodge, and I guess Mother belonged to the Eastern Star, but even that didn't involve them much because you had to go so far to ever get to a meeting.
Right. And then you mentioned, I think, earlier that Dad was a county commissioner, and that was some involvement on his part, obviously, for a number of years there. Do you know how long he was county commissioner?
I'm sure he served for 3 terms, and it was 4-year terms.
Okay.
And it could have been 4 years, but I know it was 3 years. Or 4 terms.
What would you say Dad's greatest strengths were? 1 or 2 strengths?
It's honesty. I think he was compassionate. He didn't really show it, but I think he was very compassionate. Hard worker.
Hard worker, yeah. What about Mother? What would be her big strengths?
Well, she was also a hard worker, and she was, she expected a lot out of you. But, you know, she was also just very solid and had good principles.
None of us are perfect. If you had to, I don't want to say criticize, but maybe if there's an area or two that you think maybe they could have, what might that be, if anything?
You know, I think they did the very best they could at the time and under the circumstances, and I couldn't criticize them.
Okay. Did they have any pet peeves?
Oh, our dad did. He didn't like Republicans.
Oh.
And I'm sure they had some, but I just don't recall.
Right. You have any favorite stories you want to share about them, humorous or otherwise?
Oh, nothing in particular, I guess. They thought that I was the most reckless kid in the world, you know, and I broke so many things, and I was always in trouble for the breakage around there. But overall, I think they were very patient.
Well, let's shift gears here. I'd like to capture a little bit about the extended family on your spouse's side, and in your case, two families. First the Klings, and then secondly the Trask. Just a little bit about their family heritage and that kind of thing. Let's begin with the Klings.
The Kling side of the family, they were immigrants into this country, and they were Germans, and they were rock solid people. You know, they were very devout Lutherans, and they went by the book. You know, you didn't steal, you were honest, you were hardworking. They were a wonderful family, actually. I married into a very good family.
Right.
And there's always the ups and downs with it all, but and they had a large family.
Right, yes they did.
But I got along well with all of them, and I still remain friends with them.
Great. So Buck's parents both came over here from Germany.
They were Germans, but they were in a Russian settlement.
I see.
So they were actually they immigrated from Russia, but they were Germans.
Okay, but they were not born here. No.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Yeah. Okay. How would you describe Buck's personality and temperament? Two or three words, or longer, more.
Oh, he liked to have fun, but he was also a hard worker, like family. He was very devoted to all of his siblings and his parents and his own children. He was a good person.
Let's shift over to the Trask family and a bit about their history as you know it.
I don't know a lot about them because Milton and I were married later in life.
Right.
And his parents were both gone by then. I had known them, you know, when I was really young, but I really don't know much about his side of the family, except for his brother and his sister, Mark and Zita. But and Milton was a hard worker. And of course, I wasn't around when he was raising his family.
We're going to have to get rid of that wasp, maybe, huh? We'll stop here for a second and do a wasp hunt. Well, we just killed a wasp. So, okay, Milton's personality and well, let me see. The Trask were Irish, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but
Scotch.
not, but
They were Scotch.
Okay, but they unlike the Klings who were not even born here.
Right.
They'd been around for several generations here in the U.S.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
What about Milton's personality and temperament? How would you characterize it?
Oh, he had a great temperament. I really never saw him get mad. Really, really mad.
Right, right.
And he thought life should be fun, and he lived it to be fun.
I know that. I know that. When you were growing up, most of us have daydreams about our future. Maybe you did too. If so, what might they have been?
Well, I think I told you earlier that I had thought about becoming a nurse or a social worker, and I thought I'd set the world on fire, but didn't quite get the job done.
Well, in your own way, I think you have. I think you have. What might be one or two or three of your best childhood memories?
Oh, that they were fun and carefree.
Did you have any pet peeves?
I really don't care about people who think that they are better than others. I guess that would be my biggest pet peeve.
What do you regard as some of the most important accomplishments as you look back over your life? Most proud of?
Oh, I think I've been really blessed with a nice family.
Yes, you have.
I guess that would be my big accomplishment, having a nice family.
Yes.
And nice sons-in-laws, daughters-in-law.
Mm-hmm. Again, as you think back over your lengthy and wonderful life, as well as some difficult parts as well, but what sort of chapter, if you will, may stand out as the most fulfilling or happiest, or however you might want to think about that?
Well, I think probably the most fun part of my life was the 4 years from high school until I got married.
Mm-hmm.
The most fulfilling was after I was married and raised my family. And then my years with Milton were fulfilling too.
Yeah.
However, we didn't have a family together,
Right,
so.
right. Kind of related to that, what are some of the most important lessons that you have learned over the years?
Oh, I guess that there is always a rainbow at the end of the trail in your walk with God on this earth.
Good enough. How has the world changed since you were young?
Well, it's gone from a time of innocence to, how do you describe the world today? Oh, I don't know. I love the time of the innocent age that I grew up in until the modern, and there are a lot of good things about the modern day world too,
Right.
but I think it's a pretty corrupt world.
In the world that you grew up in, you would characterize as more innocent and maybe more simple in many
Yes,
ways, I suppose.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, if we had a 15 to 25-year-old person sitting here with us today, Twila, and you were going to share with them your counsel or words of wisdom, what might you say?
I would tell him to be honest, stay humble, show compassion to others. I think the key word in our walk on this earth is integrity.
Okay, right, yeah. Integrity. That's important to me, I know. Let me see, we've covered sort of randomly a number of things here at the very end. Did I skip anything or anything you wanted to share that?
I think we covered it.
Okay, all right, well, I think we have too. You've done a great job, and I appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you doing this.
Oh, you're
It will be probably not such a treasure for us as it will be for future generations.
Well, I think so. I hope so. I want it to be, and
Yeah.
happy to do it.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. It's February 2017. I'm back with Twila because last fall I failed to ask one question, and then she thought of an item that she wanted to make sure we covered as well. So, welcome back, Twila.
Thank you.
What I didn't cover last fall was basically your current life, where you're currently living, and how do you spend your time, and that kind of thing. So if you can share that, we'll get it.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Well, Milton and I moved into this house. We had it built, and we moved in here in 2003. And then Milton passed away in 2010. So we spent 7 years together here. And we never run out of anything to do.
Yeah.
And since then, I've been even busier, I think, because Carrie and Sam's children have gone to school here, to high school, and so they've kind of headquartered out of here for the last 8 years, which has been fun. I've gone to a lot of ball games, watched a lot of rodeo stuff that the kids have been in, and I've always got card players around. We play a lot of cards.
So this is a focal point of a lot of activity, your house. People coming and going, especially grandchildren and so on.
We have an open door all the time.
Yep.
The door's always open unless it's below zero. People come and go.
What do you like most about your current stage of life?
Oh, that I don't have any schedules necessarily to meet. It's a relaxed lifestyle, and Carolyn, of course, lives right across the bridge from me, and so we get to spend a lot of time together.
Right, right.
I enjoy that part of it. And I don't get to Belfouche like I used to because I don't drive anymore.
Right.
But they do have a nice transit system here that makes it easier to go to Rapid City. And I get to Belfouche and Gillette to see Jana as often as I can. And of course, Carrie, I get to see her quite a bit because she's not far from here.
Right, right. So apart from not being able to drive and of course missing Milton, life is good?
Life is good.
All right, all right.
I feel I'm healthy. And I still am able to do some cooking, so the high school kids come over here for breakfast a lot, and we call it the Breakfast Club. So we keep up with all the school news, and yeah, I have no complaints.
Do you ever do any traveling?
Yes, I still like to travel. It's a little more difficult for me, but
yeah. Tell me about your last trip.
oh, the last trip, I think you were in on it. It was just this past Christmas. All of my children, their spouses, and all 17 of my grandchildren, we had kind of a family reunion in Cabo, Mexico, for 4 days. It was wonderful. We just got out of here before a big blizzard. The airport shut down after we left, and we got to Cabo where it was 80 degrees, and we missed the blizzard, and had a wonderful time down there.
Yeah, I might add an editorial comment that Tricia and I and our daughter Danya from Guadalajara were honored to be a part of that. And I continue to marvel at the fact at this stage of 3 generations, I guess. Yeah, 3 generations, that every single one of Twila's children, their spouses, their children, her grandchildren, and at least one grandchild's spouse. I mean, everyone that was part of the family, every single one was there. A total of 29.
And you made 31.
Yeah, we did, yeah. And
it was really nice to have you and Trish join us, and I think everybody had a wonderful time. We probably won't do it again because it's too hard to get that many people together, but it was a perfect place to go. There was something for everyone to do. The grandkids especially enjoyed it because they're all 18 years old, and they got to go to the fun bars and stay up all night and have a good time. It will be a memory that they won't forget.
No, a great memory, and I think it's a tribute to you that they felt, well, that the kind of family you've raised and the sense of connection and family that these 29 people, well, 28 beyond you, feel about you and the importance of family is a major reason that you were able to get 100% attendance. So.
It was great, and we do have a good sense of family.
You do. Yeah. So. Well, the phone's ringing, so maybe this is a good time to end this little segment.
All right. Thank you.
We're back. There was one thing that Twila also did not cover last fall. But before doing that, I want to call your attention to the photo. Well, it's a painting behind Twila, and that's our father in southwestern Wyoming, somewhere south of Rock Springs, Wyoming, in the early 1900s, probably 1910, thereabouts. And that was his occupation. And Twila took the photo and had it redone into a major portrait. Did I capture that about right, Twila? Anything you want to add?
That's all right. But the gal that painted it was a very good friend of mine.
Okay.
She lived in Nisland, South Dakota.
Okay.
And she took just a little postcard picture and painted the picture. And then she took parts of his harness and made the frame.
Oh, yeah.
So
well, I'm glad you
She passed away this past year, and I just really miss her.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you pointed out the frame and the harness parts of it too. Yeah, I was just focusing just on the, on the painting. Okay. Well, changing topics here. When you were busy as a ranch wife and a mother, you also, though, had a job as bookkeeping and that kind of thing. You want to tell us about that?
I just have always liked to do bookkeeping. I've liked figures. I know Johnny doesn't like figures, but I have always liked figures, and I just kept a lot of books for different places. The Klings had the drive-in theater, and I kept books for them, and I kept books for our ranch up there, of course, and for the Kling drive-in snack bar, and then I also kept books for, we had our own private telephone company out there way back when they didn't have telephone lines that worked very well.
In Belfouche?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I kept books and did the secretarial work for the Hay Creek Telephone Company. And then I worked at the sale barn in the office.
You did what?
Worked at the sale barn
Oh, I see. Okay.
in the office when Dean Strong had the sale
Right.
barn. And after Milton and I got married, I did bookkeeping for the Dakota Safari Hunting
Oh, yes.
Club.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
And of course, I kept books for Milton because he had his figures. He always said, I keep books on the barn door. So it was quite a challenge.
Oh, yeah. He wasn't used to anything that as sophisticated as your approach. Yeah.
But that's
You enjoyed doing that?
I enjoyed doing it.
Right.
I still enjoy it, but
Yeah.
I just have scaled down because
Sure.
my eyesight's too poor.
Yeah, right. Okay, well, I'm glad we got that little piece, and I'm going to turn the camera and see if I can get this fireplace that's blazing away here in early February in Wallace, South Dakota, and I did get it, so that's
This
a
is
good...
my cozy corner where I sit and read.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a good way to... The warmth of the fireplace is a good place to end this part of our conversation, Twila.
Thank you very much.